right, so what we're going to be looking at here is how to take proper measurements, being able to know how far out we can go with our decimal places, and tie it in with our significant figures. So let's imagine with this example right here, we're going to try to figure out where this would be and giving it a proper measurement. So the rule is that we are going to be looking for the absolute measurement and then estimating one more digit. All right, that's the thing here. So looking at where this little arrow is, we can see that the increments here, the interval is every 1. All right, and that means we are absolutely certain of this 8. All right. So we can say that this measurement is 8 point something, and that's my absolute measurement. But we can go one more decimal place. We can estimate where it falls in between that 8 and that 9. And I would say that 8.9 is a pretty good bet. But that's it. That's the last digit we can use. We cannot go to the hundredths place and say 8.92 or 3 or things like that. You can only use these two significant figures. All right, or have two significant figures. If we have a ruler with more detail, all right, so smaller increments, all right, so let's take a look at this one down here. Again, each one of these little increments in between is 0.1. So if I look at where this arrow falls here, I guarantee that is 8.9. It's falling somewhere in between 8.9. So the absolute on this one, I can absolutely know without a doubt it's 8.9, and then estimate one final number. That looks about halfway, so maybe 5 hundredths. And that is my third significant figure that I can have on here. All right, but that's it. I can't go any more. Now, as the interval, the number of numbers that you're absolutely certain of increases, so can your number of absolute figures or significant figures. Let's go somewhere else. Try these over here. All right. We have 1100, 1200, which we got to then figure out what the interval is. Each one of these goes up by 10. So for example, this one is 110. This one's 120. All right. What we can do then with that one, we know it's got to be 1,100 and somewhere in the teens. Okay. So those are my knowns. So the estimate would be that last digit. So let's just call it maybe, I don't know, 14. Now that last estimate does carry it with some wiggle room. Everyone can estimate a little bit differently. 114, or I'm sorry, 1,114, 1,115, 1,116. These would all probably be acceptable, but 1,111, which would be way over here, probably not a really solid estimate. So take your time trying to figure out where these fall. Let's go with another one. All right, something a little bit trickier. So we've got this guy way over here, and it looks like it falls exactly on this line right here. Okay, so we know it's 0.04, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And most students want to end right there because they think it falls right on it. And to my eyes, it does as well. But again, we have to estimate one more. All right, we are absolutely certain of this 4 and of this next decimal place of the 9. And if you think it falls right on that, then it is important to add one more 0 at the end to indicate that you think it's exactly on that, so that this one has 3 significant figures in it. One other thing, let's look at graduated cylinders real quick. Now, if you are looking at a graduated cylinder, all right, again, Still got the lines. Got to find the amount that it goes up each one. And we can see, since this is 70 and that's up there's 80, it's going up by 1 milliliter each time. So we've got like 75, 76, 77, 78. The question is, where do we measure it? All right. Well, this is called the meniscus. All right. And you always measure to the bottom of the meniscus, right about there. Okay. So if it's right on, if you're measuring to the bottom of the meniscus, I would say 76, somewhere like 0.0, maybe 0.1. All right. All of those would be acceptable, but you have to go to this one more estimated decimal place. So in Canvas, there's a bunch of questions to help practice this. Careful with your estimation. Make sure you go to the correct number of significant figures. And if you got any questions, send me a message.